would he be able to do it? Felix Baumgartner, his name would ring a bell, climbed up to the edge of space, climbed out of this space capsule and took a dive, braking at the speed of sound. And it's the true maxim. He learned this, I believe, a long time ago, that you do not need a parachute to skydive. You need a parachute to skydive twice. Fellow Toastmasters, good morning, and I want to say this speech is all about what it takes to look forward. A lot of times we get caught up in the whatever of life, and you wonder, how did we get to where we are? I was in Boy Scouts a long, long time ago, it seems like. Yeah, I was one of those kids that was going out camping, and I can't even remember how old I was. That's the scary part. It's like I tell my kids, yeah, I used to go to Camp Two Bear up in northern Wisconsin, and we go camping. And the thing that we learned was that we could take and try to get your campfire going. And people warn you, they say one match can start a forest fire. But I can tell you, it takes an entire box sometimes to get that little thing to go. I have spent the last 8 years of my life working in a particular job. Some of you may know that I worked at Microsoft, and I was an evangelist, and I did all these different things. But I want to give you a history, how I got to where I am, and kind of give you a view of what's going on inside my head and where we're going, what's next. And the whole thing with the history, some of the things you may not know about me. I grew up in northern Illinois. I knew all four of my grandparents. All four of them lived into their 80s and 90s. My grandfather recently passed away when he was 96. I had the benefit of having known them for most of my adult life, in the sense that my parents were young when they had us as kids, and so I got to know my grandparents very well. I grew up, I went to the same high school that my parents both graduated from in 1963. Their parents both graduated from it, not both of them, but my dad's parents both graduated from it in 1933. And in 1915, my great-grandfather was on the school board when they started the school. So you got that history, and then when I graduated in 85, it was like, okay, here's the whole flow of things, and now I've got nephews and children, and all that stuff is going through that same school. But I came out of there learning a few different things about how to participate in life. I got a chance to try a lot of different things. I was never the popular kid, but I was always part of things. I was part of the football team. I was part of in the theater or whatever that means. I was in the AP classes. I did all the things I could, and I went to college, and I got a degree at the University of Minnesota here, studying aerospace engineering. So I got my degree, became a rocket scientist. When I say it doesn't take a rocket scientist, it doesn't hurt. So, the thing is there's a lot of different things you can say about where you want to go in life. I came out of college, I got a job working in title insurance. Actually, the building is just down the street here. It's a corner of 177th, is Walsh Title was the company at the time. And I spent a number of years building out their IT systems and automating how they do the closing packages and doing title extensions and going into all of that stuff and automating all those things. And I moved from that into Fingerhut, where I spent a couple of years actually as a developer, building out code in a warehousing system, working in large things where I was responsible for 7 miles of conveyor belt inside of a 1 million square foot warehouse, where we pick, pack, and ship 100,000 unique packages a day. And at the time, you got to remember, this is 20 years ago, that was a lot of data going through that, trying to make that all work. I moved into consulting. I had the opportunity to go out and move into consulting, and very shortly thereafter, I started a company with my brother, Applied Technology Group. If you look at the ATG on that, it's a company we started when we had an opportunity to go out and get things going. And it was the kind of thing that was real slow to get started. ATG, what does that mean? When I said Applied Technology Group, sometimes it was more adequate technologies. It's good enough, we can get you there. But the thing is that over the course of 12 years, we built it into a company and we had fun with it. And then I got the opportunity to go and work on a contract with Microsoft doing MSDN events and working for a team called Microsoft Across America. And for the next 5 years, Microsoft Across America was kind of the ultimate, I'm going to retire in this job. I love this thing. It's absolutely the greatest thing in the world. because you've had the opportunity to go out and with Tech Masters and Toastmasters, you talk about technology topics. Imagine going out and taking 26 of these 5 to 7 minute speeches and stringing them together for a 4-hour afternoon. Let's go and talk about a technology. That was my day job. And they paid me to travel around the country and get a chance to meet people and talk about what's going on. And I always said that it's the best training I could get if I ever had to get a real job. Well, the day has come. And you think about it, and it's like, okay, well, I used to be indecisive. Now I'm not so sure. Because it's all coming, back together. And it's one of those things where the job changed when I went from being with Microsoft Across America into the evangelism role, because I still did the same kinds of things. All of the other stuff that I didn't have to do, now all of a sudden, all the administrative stuff, all the organizing, and all the rest of that, it took some of the fun out of it. And I got to the point where I started thinking, you know what? I could do better, I can do better, and I will do better. And so for that reason, I have for the last 6 months been orchestrating the departure from Microsoft and laying out my plans for what I call my the next, or the next generation of, the next chapter of my life and my career as I go forward, looking at how we can help people understand what's possible with technology, and I can still continue to do the things that I enjoy to do. And so when you say, what are you doing today? Yes, I'm doing Benkovich consulting services or technology services. I originally was going to use the same name that I had before, which is Imagine Technologies. And I actually incorporated Imagine Technologies. So if you see an invoice and it says Imagine Technologies, and it's actually Benkovich and Imagine Technologies. I've got to figure that whole thing out. But the thing is what is it and how does it help people understand what's going on? Well, it's a consulting company or a technology services firm that will help people understand what's possible and apply those technologies. And I'm focused today on the cloud technologies and the mobile technologies and bringing those things together. And by virtue of having worked in this specific role that I've been in, I hope that I will find work. But I was asked just last week, someone said, so I hear you're looking for a job. And it's like, no, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for work. But there's a distinction. And to that end, you think about, what can I do to light this next fire? Is it going to take a box, or will it take a match? Mr. Toastmaster.